What's going on, people? Welcome to the match preview show. I'm joined by Patrick and Animal for this insight into Tottenham. It should be interesting. Due to the fact that they are struggling. Well, the most out of form side, anyways, for a long time, and we're missing one or potentially few more players. So yeah, we'll be discussing that and more. As always, drop a like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Start off with you, Patrick. How you doing?
Busy, but I'm okay. Football's been decent. And the United result disappointing because of the red card, but no, overall everything's fine, thanks.
Is the sun coming out in New York yet? Or
Funny enough, it's the snow stopped. Like it's going to stop snowing, but it's supposed to be like, I didn't know how to translate it. It's supposed to be like 60 degrees. The next couple of days, and it's been like in the 30s. So basically, the temperature's gone up double in like a day or two. So it's crazy, but it's still a lot of snow on the ground. I mean, I have a massive garden, and it's still snow all over the place. So, but
okay,
that's New York for you.
Yeah, it is. It feels like New York is a place of extremes in terms of, when the weather is hot, it seems very hot. When it's cold, when I went there around March times, it was freezing. I had to wear like 3-4 layers, and I don't even have to wear that in the UK. But then when it's sunny, I guess it's very sunny. So yeah. What about for you, Animal? How are you doing? How's life apart from Palace? Enjoying everything?
Not bad, actually. Yeah, not been taking in too much football other than Palace games. I did see that Liverpool lost 2-1 to Wolves, though, so I had to catch some of the match reactions on YouTube for that. That was quite funny. The weather is about 15 degrees out here in Spain. It's a little bit blustery, a little bit rainy in places, but otherwise it's fine. I never tend to wear more than a jumper all year round, so I've got a whole wardrobe full of coats and jackets I never use.
And you live in Spain. Well, to be fair, it makes sense. Actually, that makes sense. I guess you can all throw your jackets away. I mean, how many times would you even have to wear a jacket in Spain?
I use them for like formal events. Do you know what I mean? If we're going to see the family, I'll throw a jacket on or something like that to look like the part. But yeah, I don't really get much use out of them other than that. Like I have cold showers the whole year round.
You know what? Yeah, it's approaching. I don't know about all year round, but it's approaching that season. Let's just say that.
All year round, man. Cold showers.
That is crazy. Well, as I said, I think you got a Spain tax, because if he was living in the UK, I don't know if he was still having cold showers in some of this weather. Surely not. Like, you can't be having that.
Well, I can't have hot showers anymore. Like it weirds me out. It kind of makes me sweat immediately afterwards as well. So I don't know. I haven't taken my cold shower in routine anywhere close to the UK. But I've been up north, up in like Mundaka and places like that, and had the cold showers up there. It's a lot colder up there. It's a lot more like the UK. So I'd probably be all right still.
Animal, quick question. Where in Spain are you again, if you don't mind asking? My brother has a house in Alicante, so I'm asking.
Valencia.
Oh, okay. So how far is that from Alicante? I have no idea.
How far is it from Alicante, babe? It's not far.
About a couple of hours.
Couple of hours.
Okay, got you. Thanks. All right, just interesting. I'm gonna go there one day and visit. Go there.
Someone I know who wouldn't need to take a cold shower for recovery is Lacroix, because he'll be out of the game, so he could take whether a cold or hot shower which he'll be going for on Thursday when he takes his shower, because he'll be missing from the game. But how are we feeling about this game? I know we spoke about the weather and how we are, but I'll be honest, I'm just looking forward to next week Thursday. not the Tottenham game, but Patrick, for you, the Tottenham game holds any significance? Or
it does, because I just prefer we not lose matches. So obviously it's a lot more important to Spurs because they're obviously in trouble. But then you look below them, you got Leeds, Forest, and West Ham. I know they're panicking. I get it, and I would panic if I was a Spurs fan too, because they're playing really poor football. But for me, I just want to get a result. I think you build more from good results than you do from poor ones. Again, it doesn't mean anything for us in the league, but I already said that my focus would be the Conference League, but I still don't want to lose to them, having lost to them already once this season, and they were so poor then, we still lost to them. So I just want to see play where we did in the first half an hour or so against United and try and get a result of some kind. That'll be positive, because we'll need that going into the Larnaca game, I think.
Yeah, for me, performances matter a bit more at times than results. Let's say, I mean, if you keep getting 1-0 wins whilst playing terribly, I mean, you're still going to be happy, right? But eventually it's going to catch up to you. But if you go into games with solid performances, which I think we have done now over the last couple of games and more, it gives you a boost to know that even if results don't go your way, then eventually it will happen. And for the past, month or two when madness was happening, it just felt like the performances, all of the results weren't there. But thankfully, even after United, I don't think a lot of people were mad, because a lot of people, I think, can agree that if you play like that against Tottenham, then you will get a win, because the performance was actually positive.
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it? Because for quite a good period of time, the performances on the pitch were bad, and you're not going to get that past the fans. Like the people that are watching the games are going to be annoyed by the performance, and that can really bring the feeling down. I think. In the past, we've had comments on the video saying, "Oh, you're too negative," and it's literally because of the performances that we've seen that we've got the biggest issue, because we feel like the players aren't getting there. They haven't got something's wrong, something's off, and we feared it. But since we've seen, the win against Wolves, the win against Mostar, and the performance against the United, I thought was positive. Despite the loss, I think the referee was the standard of refereeing in the Premier League. So I'm looking forward to carrying that positivity on into Spurs, because I think they are there for the taking. We should be going for the throat. They've got multiple players out: Kulusevski, no Kudus, no Maddison, no Bentancur, no Bergvall. So this is a weakened Spurs team, and they're not playing well. So I would like to go for the win for this game.
And they're low on confidence, Patrick. I think that's a key element as well. We can see how much confidence can impact players and their performances. And Spurs right now, to say low on confidence is giving them a bit of a praise. I don't think there is any confidence in that side.
I mean, they're the only Premier League team that doesn't win in the entire calendar year. The last win was against, guess who? Yeah, Palace. And they've got a new manager, and like I said, I'm not a big. People talk about the new manager bounce. Yeah, it can happen, but you got to look over a certain amount of games. Winning the first 1 or 2 games doesn't really count as a bounce. You got to go over like 4 or 5 games, and he's struggling because the players right now fair play. They got a lot of injuries. So there is that, which is why I think they shouldn't have fired Thomas Frank in the first place. But it is what it is. They're Tottenham, and they want to win. But they're just playing really poorly. And now I think he used 3 different formations already, or 2 in the first 2 games. It's crazy. They have to win this game. The pressure's on them. I said, if we get a goal up, that fan base, and they're already terrible at home, going to turn them so quickly. So I think an early goal against them is going to be massive, really big against them.
Yeah, I agree. To have a fast start and make the crowd unnervy, that's the best way to approach this game. And we had a fast start. If we have a similar start to what we've done against Manchester United, then I think we should be fine in that regards, and hopefully get into the players' heads a bit more. But just quickly, before we talk about Palace's team selection, who do we want to go down out of Forest? It seems like Forest, West Ham, or Tottenham. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm Wolves' biggest fan to the end of the season. It would be a miracle if they stayed up. I'd love it if 2 of them 3 went down. But if we had to pick one animal, who would you go for?
I like Wolves as well, but I think they're going down. For me, I think it would be absolutely hilarious to see Spurs go down. I'd enjoy watching that. It's nothing to do with the Spurs fan base. I just think it's funny because we always talk about status quo and Palace. You're 12th. That's where you belong. And it's like, well, if that's where we belong, why are Spurs all the way down at the bottom of the table threatened with relegation? I don't like the status quo argument. So to see Spurs go down, it would just solidify that opinion for me. And then Forest have irked me somewhat in recent months. So if Burnley and Leeds could stay up, or Wolves in place of Spurs and Forest, that would be good for me. I'd like that.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation. Well, I mean, any 3 of them can go down, Patrick, for me. I'm not really that fast. West Ham has its own reasons. Forest has its own reasons. Spurs have their own reasons why I wouldn't mind that. But for you?
I don't really dislike Spurs. I used to hate losing to them when they had Harry Kane. We lose them all the time, and Sonny all the time. But one of my nephews is a big Spurs fan. He's a good kid, so I really want them to go down. I really don't particularly like West Ham and Forest, but because of how the Forest fans have reacted to that whole Europa League stuff, and you know who that Wolfie guy gets on my damn nerves, I'll definitely prefer Forest go down over West Ham. I mean, I've never had a problem with West Ham. When I was a kid, West Ham was a second division team like Palace, so I never considered them much of a threat. So I don't really care about West Ham besides maybe Lawless, but I don't really know Lawless, so that's on him. But I don't like Forest the way they've acted. I hate the owner. So for me, Forest would be the one I want to go down for sure.
And even in terms of like significance going into next season, if you're looking at Forest, West Ham, or Tottenham, and even if you have any dislike towards those clubs, it's still positive for Palace because they're bigger clubs in terms of resources and what they can spend. So any three of them going down helps us out. And the clubs that are looking to get promoted, I don't think any of them are anywhere near the levels. I know the championship changes week in, week out, but I assume Coventry will get promoted. Hey, you never know. Maybe Millwall might be here next season, and I'm not really worried about them. So yeah, right now the championship is Middlesbrough. Yeah, I guess they can maybe offer a fight, but Ipswich, Millwall, Hull, Wrexham. So yeah, if any of the three of them go down, then I think it helps us out as well in that sense. Just now going to the defense, Lacroix, he's out for this game, and people were talking about appeals, and I understand it, but I'm actually not upset that he's missing this game. I know I was disappointed at the way he got a red card. It shouldn't have been a red card. It should have been a penalty, but it is what it is. But we're talking about a player who we weren't sure if he's fit enough to start United. We weren't sure if he's fit enough to start Mostar. And now you're giving me an opportunity for him to get a week's rest and come back fresh for the Larnaca game, which is more significant. So for that reason, I'm not upset. But for you, Patrick, how big of a miss is Lacroix going to be, assuming that Chad Riyad is going to step in?
He's the most important guy in that back three because he's the plays in the middle and he's got two players on the outside. Sometimes they're young when it was Riyad and Convo. So when Richards didn't play, so it's big. But like you, I'm not that bothered by it because, like you said, we got bigger games to worry about going forward. Spurs attack isn't that great to worry about. The issue is obviously you're gonna have three players now, two very young players in Riyad and Convo playing. You got Richards playing unfamiliar. He usually plays on the left or the right. We're playing in center, so that'd be interesting. But to be honest with you, that might be our future right there. So I'm excited to actually see the three of them play together in that game. So again, I'm not bothered by the fact he won't play. The rest is more important. And you're right, he was kind of injured anyway, so maybe that rest will make him even stronger for the stretch run for me.
Yeah, and when we're talking about Riyad, Convo, and Richards, would we change any of the positions? Who plays more centrally? Is it a case of Riyad coming in and playing more centrally, Animal, or do you put maybe a more experienced player of Richards through the middle?
I would want to see Richards centrally, like in the middle, like he did in the game. Was it against who? Was it against Mostar? Where we had a Richards, Riyad, and Convo back three.
I think it might have been after Lacroix got subbed off against Mostar. Maybe because I can't really. Yeah,
I think I'd prefer to see that. Lacroix is such a good linchpin in that central role, and I think you need someone with the experience that Richards has, who I think is turning into a real leader. By the way, especially with all of this experience he's getting as the more experienced centre back of the three. It would be a great game. But it's a great point you make about Lacroix and his injury as well, dear. I hadn't even thought about it, but it would be great for Max to get a sufficient rest, before we take on someone with a little bit more threat about them.
Yeah, and it'll also be good to see how much of a miss Lacroix is in a way. I mean, it's a game that we would love to win, but if we don't win, it's not the end of the world. And Lacroix's biggest element really is his pace. That's what he uses to the best of the degree. So how can we handle without space? Because Tottenham still got a few fast players in that attacking line. So yeah, that'll be good to see, Patrick.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, they do have. Listen, I'm not gonna put down. Slanky can score goals. Obviously, Colin White can score goals, but Xavi Simons hasn't played well this season so far. So again, not having Kudus is a big miss. Kulusevski, Madison, they've got a lot of creative players out, but somehow that team still beat us 1-0 at home. So I'm not going to say there's no way Spurs can beat us, but I will say that if you gave me an option of a team to play without Lacroix and with, that would be this will be the team I want to play against, because again, they don't scare you going forward. I mean, they can get a goal obviously, but they don't scare me. So again, and I actually think he might get arrested, Lacroix, honestly, with that abducted thing anyway. He might get arrested in this game. So it kind of works out weirdly to see the three in Lacroix, Riyadh, and Richards in the back. So
are they missing Romero as well? I think they might be missing Christian Romero.
I don't know if he's back from suspension.
He was suspended, right? I'll check now.
So, yeah.
I think he might still be suspended.
But a player that will be coming back for Palace, by the way, and will be in the squad tomorrow is Jefferson Lerma. Glasner has confirmed that he'll be in the squad. However, he might be only able to play 15, 20 minutes. So if it's a case of hopefully no one gets injured or no red cards or anything silly like that. But I assume that sub would be automatic for Riyadh if everything goes according to plan, because he's played a lot of games, and he has, he's come off the bench against United, and it's not like he started every single game, but he's playing a lot of minutes for a player that's been out for a very long time. So maybe we could see that sub, and it's positive to have Lerma as an option off the bench, especially with Lacroix missing. So that is good to see. Just quickly on the midfield, there's a lot of talk about Kamada, a lot of talk about Wharton. Where do we stand with this? Like, what is going on? Because those two are meant to be our best pairing, and we've seen it. Like, even in important games last season, it was Kamada and Wharton in midfield, and how much of a key role that they played. But Animal feels like Kamada. Well, some people maybe more than others saying, he's not been nowhere good enough. Even against United, he was poor. And then Wharton is another player which he just hasn't been at the levels that we know that he could be at. And right now, I don't think he's playing for the value that we put him around, in all honesty. But what do you think is going on with those two?
I think Wharton's played a lot of games. I think he's played a lot of games under a lot of different kind of conditions and situations and frustrations in his own mind. I think he might be, mentally tired as well as sort of a little bit physically fatigued. That's why I think we've seen a drop off in his sort of high end performances. Kamada, I don't see what everybody else saw against Manchester United. I thought he was sort of better than fine, not great, but he was definitely better than fine. He managed to, like, the yellow card wasn't his fault. There were tackles that were given that were not his fault either. Like people talk about his silly little tackles, and actually they were silly decisions by the referee in a couple of occasions. And I think again he's just the easy scapegoat. I think he maybe doesn't hit all of his passing, but then who does in our side? I think it's bizarre that we single him out a lot of the time, because that he's got that yellow card, but Wharton has picked up yellow cards as well. Hughesy is the yellow card king in the team, so I don't understand the Daichi. Like, literally a week or two ago, people were talking about, he's not going to be dedicated to Palace, like he should just be on the bench, like he wants to leave the club. I haven't seen that in Daichi. I haven't seen that since he's come back. I've seen effort, and I've seen I've seen him playing well. I've seen him beat Daichi on the pitch, and as he's sort of getting back up to full speed after that injury, I think we will continue to see the best that he can give until the end of the season.
Do you think that's playing a part in terms of the fact that he will be leaving at the end of the season, so people are a bit more harsh on him now because he won't be a Crystal Palace player next season?
I think people have been harsh on him since day one.
Yeah, true.
I'll just jump in on Daichi again. I said about another player. I won't mention his name, but I think if you don't like Daichi before, you still don't like him. And I think Daichi played really well against United. I think the first 30 minutes we dominated the possession. I was talking about it during the play ratings, 60-40. I didn't notice Casemiro or Mainu. The only time they came back into the game when the red card happened. He had to play a lot deeper role. But if you watch the Wolves game, the Mostar game, he's taking positions higher up the pitch, getting involved. He and Wharton are by far our best attacking, and I would even say defensive pairing in that midfield. They create more, they break up play more, they dominate midfield more. Again, I think Kamada's played really well. I don't know what people saw against United. The red card changed the entire game. If you think he didn't play well on Sunday, I'm sorry, I don't know what game you're watching. I thought he was fine until we were down a man. That's not his fault. So, and yellow card you pick up there. The only thing that they're both missing are goals and assists. If you're criticizing that, I understand that totally. But you can't. I think you can't. To me, you can't criticize his effort or how he's played. I think Kamada's done really well since he's come back from the injury.
Yeah, and maybe he will get a few more opportunities in this game. Maybe half an hour, 60 minutes. I don't know. We've got enough time against Larnaca. We haven't got a game in a weekend, so we've got a week. So I don't know how Glasgow will approach it. But he's just been playing decent. And I thought Kamada had a relatively solid game. I think people were, from what I gathered in the match reaction, people were upset about his passing in the final third. So yeah, that's what they were upset about. So hopefully one of them. Yeah, we are lacking goals from the midfield too, and we have been since Glasgow's come into the football club. To be fair, he has been in ongoing issues. Either the centre backs or the forwards, the midfielders haven't been involved. Nowhere near enough, maybe. But I don't know if that's what Glasgow like. I don't know if Glasgow even expects the midfielders to be involved as much. So yeah, he's never really mentioned that as an issue. Just quickly on Evan Gassan, according to Sky Sports, there could be a trigger to his loan move. Not just Sky Sports and various other sources as well. If he has 5 more goal involvements, Palace have an obligation to buy the forward for £28 million if he reaches 8 goals and assists during the loan spell. How do you feel about that, Animal?
A little bit mixed, really. I think he's shown himself to be a bit of a fan favorite as he's come in. He's he's great on the ball, which is something that we've been sort of wanting to see, dribbling and taking players on. But we're going to be without this manager next season. I'm not entirely sure how that's all going to work out, but he'd be a player that I'd be happy to have in, I guess, for sure.
Yeah, I guess. I guess even if the manager changes, Patrick, to have Kassan in the squad will be decent. But there's just something that doesn't sit right with me to trigger a loan move and make it permanent. Well, 8 goal contributions will be decent, but we're talking £28 million. Brennan Johnson was 30 or so. Sharon Larson, we'll see what happens with him, 45. I just feel like with that kind of money, and we spent a lot of money, it's just, I don't know, it just feels like a lot. As much as I loved what he's contributed so far, there's too much uncertainty with Palace going into next season to just confirm a £28 million signing from the get-go. Like, what if this is a purple patch? He wasn't great at Villa. What if the form drops off after the 8 goal contribution? There's just a lot of factors, and it's not cheap as well.
So I'll give you the purple patch thing as being an issue totally, but again, I'll say it, and I've said it on other shows. I totally am fine with Gassan. I didn't think it was a good idea at the time, but he proved me wrong. He reminds me a lot of Jordan Ayew, a younger Jordan Ayew. He draws fouls, he contributes to goals. Think about in the past a couple of things. One, of our 3 signings in the attacking signings in the January, who's been the best so far? To me, Gassan by far.
Yeah.
Better than Johnson, better than Strand Larson. So there's a positive there. Also, in the past, when we've activated players who've been on loan, Wolf was one. He did great. Jordan Ayew came on loan, signed him permanently. Mateta was on loan, signed him permanently. A lot of our loans in the beginning, the permanents have been very good. And more importantly, forget the Glasgow part. He wants to be at Palace. You can see he wanted to be at Palace. Glasgow mentioned at least 2 or 3 times in press conferences how he was going to come in the summer, but something came up and he ended up going to Villa. Player wants to be here and can contribute and fits in right away. I just like the style of play. Again, I didn't see this coming. I used to watch him at Villa, but again, you know what about football is the way that you play. And Glasgow mentioned previous club he played in the same formation, is comfortable playing that formation. So for me, someone comes in.
That's the thing, though. We don't know what formation we're going to play next season. So
I get that, and that could be the issue. But let's just see, because again, hopefully we get a manager who plays a flexible type thing where Gassan will fit in. But for me, honestly, if there are options there, and if he does 8 goal contributions in the rest of the season, that could be 16 for the whole season. Those numbers are great. And again, maybe it's because he wants to get signed, he's playing that well, but we don't know that yet. But I would definitely be all for it. Whether he gets those numbers or not, I'd sign him definitely anyway. So,
Patrick, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What formation do you want us to play post Glasner?
I actually don't know. I still like what we play, the 3-4, because again, the thing with the 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3 is that it's very flexible in and out of possession. So a lot of times you're playing 4 at the back anyway, so that doesn't change. And I like the fact that players like Ty and Munoz are pushed up. I like to see better crossing from our wing backs, but I like the way that they play. The only issue with it for me is the way that Kamada and Wharton, we talked about before, how they force play a lot deeper, so they're not going to contribute goals and assists. If they're playing in a 4-2-3-1, chances are they can get more involved in getting goals. But I like the formation. Again, if you understand that, I watch a lot of tactical stuff. It's very flexible. It really is. And I'm not big on this whole having wingers, because wingers in 2026 isn't really a thing anymore. I like the way that he turned Eze and Elise into, like, into tens and more creative and scoring goals and that kind of stuff. So I like the formation. If you go 4-2-3, which most teams play now, I got no problem with that. But there isn't a lot of difference between the two formations. People get caught up in that a lot. It's how you play it in and out of possession, and how your manager wants your tens to play, and how your manager wants the DMs to play, and how far the wingbacks push up the field. But again, that's why, again, with Gahey, he was such a big part of it, because the way he played as that center back, he was more of a midfield a lot of times and creating stuff. We don't have that right now. So it's really how you play and who you have to play. So for me, their formation, I love it because of how flexible it is. But if you go back to a 4-2-3-1, that works for me too. So we'll see. It's
interesting because you get a great example in that formation with Glasner, but you get a bad example with Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, with United, exactly. But in Portugal, he played the same formation, was brilliant. Yeah. With Sporting. So again, it also comes down to personnel. Because I must say, when he first came out, I said to myself, we can't play three in the back. Anderson can't play in the three. Gahey, I think, is injured at that time, but look how quickly he's able to play. He made Klein, Ward, and Lerma into good center backs, and we all know how. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying with formations and managers. But again, but you're right. I'm an example, the perfect example. They didn't fit United, and now all of a sudden, now look at them now with 4-2-3-1 with Carrick. So again, depends on who you have and how you play it.
It just quickly on Ghassan, for me, it just would have been nice. Of course, we complain about loans not having the option to buy. This feels like it's going to have an obligation if he gets 8 goal contributions, so only 5 more remaining for him to trigger it. It's just, when it comes down to the actual now, all right, cool, if he gets 5 more goal contributions, that's £28 million. It just would have been nice if we had the option rather than an obligation. But I guess, that was the terms. We kind of needed more attackers, and I think that's why we went along with it. So we were not in a great position in January.
He seems like a good guy as well, good character. Yeah. I'd be more than happy to have him on a permanent basis.
Yeah.
He's only 24, turned 25 in July. He's not like he's old. He's not like he's 27, 20. He's a young player.
Worst case, for me, so. Even if he doesn't fit the starting 11 of whoever the next manager is, and whatever way we want to approach it, because there's a lot of questions that need to be answered about Palace. I assume he should be able to be a good squad player, regardless.
100%. I agree.
So, and we do need more squad players. But talking about expensive signings, Brennan Johnson is back to his former club. Do you start him in this game after he started against United, Patrick?
I saw some flashes there that were better than I saw before. The corner was very good. He put it right on Lacroix's head. He had a couple of other contributions in there that I liked. Do you know what? They always talk about, players going back to old clubs scoring goals. I mean, he'll be up for. If he's not up for his game, he'll be up for no games all season. So, Pino, when he came on, didn't do well. So I give him back-to-back starts and see how he does. I like to see Pino get back in there maybe for Larnaca. But if he starts Johnson on the left with Saw on the right, and because they were very flexible, they were switching a little bit. So I would start him again. He needs to start getting. He's got 2 assists in the last 2 games. So I start him. If he scores against United, against Spurs, that'd be brilliant. So I would start him for sure. Why not?
What about Ghassan, though? We just spoke about. He's been playing well.
For me, Ghassan's better on the other side. He's better on the same side on. I don't even know. It's a good question.
It's hard.
Johnson needs to build his confidence. Ghassan already has confidence. And Johnson's got 2 assists in the last 2 games. Again, he was better. He wasn't great against United. He was better against United. And again, it's because it's Spurs. He'll be up for it. He'll know how they play. If it wasn't for Spurs, I wouldn't necessarily start him. But I think because it's Spurs and he feels like he's getting a little bit of a confidence boost now. I think imagine he scores against Spurs. That'll boost because he looks like he's lacking confidence a lot of the time. When you look at his face, it looks kind of down when he makes a bad pass or shot doesn't get on target. I know you just mentioned Ghassan, but forget what I said, Pino. You're right. I would pick Ghassan against Larnaca. It'll be Ghassan then Saar. So forget what I say. Well, because Pino's still on the bench until next couple of games. Forget that. I would start Johnson though still.
Yeah, same. I think Ghassan will be starting against Larnaca as well. But Animal, what's your stance on Brennan Johnson versus Ghassan on Thursday?
think I'd play him. I think we would benefit from having the speed on the wings, and I think that Johnson, again, like you said, needs to build up a little bit of confidence where Guessand has it. I'd bring on Guessand in the second half as a substitution. I worry for Pino because I think we've sort of developed this pile-on that we do onto players when they're not playing well, and I think Pino is truly under the boot of our fans at the moment, and they're just waiting for any kind of excuse. And I think that puts pressure on him. And I think he's a confidence player. I think he needs to build up confidence in himself as well. But I don't think that comes in the form of playing games where it might be a little bit more difficult for him. So it's interesting. Would I play? I'll probably play him against Larnaca, actually, Pino, starting against Larnaca. But then you're never giving Guessand like starting places if you're doing that as well. It's tricky, man. It's tricky. I like Pino. I think he's got a good footballing IQ. I think he like I said a few streams ago, he seems to just be playing at his own speed, and he's playing his own game on the pitch. He doesn't seem to have built that relationship with the other attacking players, and I think he just needs a little bit of time. Probably, I mean, at this point, it's probably more than Kamada had, but then Pino has scored goals and he's assisted goals as well. So, I wanted to see his run continue. I think there was a game where he got 2 goals in a row after subsequent games. I can't remember who the teams were. I think
he scored against Macclesfield.
Macclesfield was one of them, yeah. And then did he score against? Who did he score against after that? Was it Sunderland? I remember who he scored against.
Oh, Sunderland, yeah, Sunderland, yeah. He scored against Sunderland from the corner.
And I would have liked to have seen that sort of that run of appearances continue, but it didn't, unfortunately, with the arrival of Guessand and that, the sort of need to get Johnson sort of up and fit and up to speed with our system and everything. So it's just a shame that things have happened the way they have, and I think Pino is a little bit of a victim of it in a sense, But yeah, I hope it can all turn around because I really like Pino as a player.
Yeah, Spurs' form last 4 games has been defeats. They're 4 losses in a row. They've lost against Fulham 2-1, then Arsenal 4-1 at home, and then United 2-0 away from home, Newcastle 2-1 at home. They've had 4 defeats, and they drew against Man City as well. So in the last 5 games, 4 defeats, 1 draw, 2-2 draw against Man City at home. They couldn't beat Burnley away from home, drew 2-2 against them. They lost to West Ham at home 2-1 in Jan. They've lost to Villa 2-1 at home. You basically keep scrolling until they face Palace. That's when their last win was, as Patrick has mentioned. But yeah, they have been struggling. They've been struggling at home. Their home form. I saw a stat. I need to get the exact details. Something along the lines of Wolves have got more wins than Tottenham since April 2025 or something crazy like that. They've been struggling at home. And it has been a massive issue for them. But anything you want to add, Patrick, about Tottenham? They've had a lot of injuries as well, but you mentioned that.
No, you covered it. Like I said, they're not playing well. Their last one against us. No, there's nothing really again. Just the one thing is that last season when we did a double, was the first time we've ever done a double over them last season. So again, playing Spurs has always been tough for us. I mean, I don't know. The Harry Kane issue was there, and then Sonny's always score against us. But last season to win both games last year was massive. So again, I need at least a split this year. We lost to them 1-0. We shouldn't have lost that game. Archie Gray with that weird goal, but need to get a result somehow. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about score predictions then. So I think there were points gained. There was points gained against United because not everyone went for a Palace win.
Yeah, so AJ got actually correct score. He had 2-1 United. Doesn't really back his own club, but we'll get to that later on. And Louis also had 2-1 United. Got 3 points, and then besides them, I didn't back my team either. I had 2-0 United, so I got a point, and D got a point. Had 1-0 United. But no one else got points. So leave the standings as the following: AJ is still top on 39. But bearing down on AJ is a guy named Patrick on 34. T now dropped down. T's been in second. He's been Arsenal for a while. Now he dropped down to third. He's in 33 points. Louis and Xavier now are tied up 4th on 28. D, you're in 6 on 24th. You are dropping like a rock in water, unfortunately. Nick 21, Animal 3, and Nosa yet to go off the. But he's a part-timer. He's yet to go off the any kind of score yet. So as far as Spurs is concerned, AJ's gone 1-1 draw. He's gone 2-1 Palace. Xavier's also gone 2-1 Palace, and I did get Louis' score. Louis went 2-2 draw, and very optimistic, by the way. Everyone is, and Nick's gone 2-1 Palace.
Everyone's gone 2-1 Palace. I've read out a lot of 2-1s there, though. I think some people have done their homework. It feels like they've lost. Yeah, they've lost 2-1 to Newcastle at home. They also lost 2-1 to West Ham at home. They lost 2-1 to Aston Villa at home. I mean, if you look at recent results, those 2-1s have happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-0 Palace. I'm gonna back them, go 1-0. So, Animal, what you going with?
I'm gonna go 3-1 Palace win.
Wow, 3.
Yeah.
3-1.
I think
who's going to score? If you think, that's a lot of goals for us. But who's going to score? You think?
I think Strand Larsen's going to score. I really like Strand Larsen, by the way. I like his movement. I like his attacking ability. I think he's really good. He encourages us to play faster up the pitch. I think Sarr will get a goal. So Sarr, Strand Larsen. No. I don't know. Yeah, go on then. I'll have the front three. Johnson, Sarr, Strand Larsen.
Hopefully, that'll be great. I'm gonna go for 1-0 Palace. I'm saying that very hesitantly because I can really see a 2-1 happening, but everyone said 2-1, so I'm gonna say 1-0.
All right, all scores are in.
Can I get 100 points if I get the correct players that scored?
Yeah, I mean you can get points, but surely we can.
Well, you know what? Now we'll give you, if you get the right score and all 3 scorers, we'll give you 10 points. I'll write it down.
Yeah, I like that.
Wait, how many points am I on?
You're worried by him catching you.
I don't know whether I agree with this.
You'll still be. It's like Palace versus West Ham in the relegation battle. You'll still be a good 10-11 points ahead. Don't worry.
Okay, yeah, you can get a 10 points if you get his predictions right. Yeah, I just want to make sure like my reputation doesn't get tarnished if I get caught up by animals. So yeah,
I hear it.
Oh mate.
So yeah, let us know your score predictions in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed this, drop a like, subscribe. We'll be back, of course, for the match reaction. It's going to be a late one again on Thursday night. It's going to be Animal and myself around midnight UK time. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That's it from us. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.